And now, the First Alert Storm Team, live from the 13 Now digital desk. This is Tropic Topics, sponsored by Peden Heating and Air Conditioning and Mariana Toyota.
Welcome to Tropic Topics. This is week 18, and we're all about rain, rain, go away, thanks to this morning's micro-scale event, and that's just a fancy term for saying it was a small-scale event, and it happened over Bay County and basically only Bay County. We saw a lot of rain. So we've got a couple of interesting things outside of the tropics that we're going to cover first before we do get into the tropics, just because of what did happen this morning and because the tropics are behaving. So that's some good news overall. So that's where we will start, and we're going to talk about some other stuff along the way. And we have a Kristen rant today. I might add a little bit of fuel to the fire on that rant, but Kristen is gonna tee off a little bit. She needs to let some anger out. She's had a morning. She had several tornado warnings, and sorry to any National Weather Service employee that is watching today. I don't know if they needed to be warned. I mean, they certainly had some broad rotation in those storms. They looked like mesocyclones to me, so mid-level rotation. I guess it's possible we had a tornado out there at some point in time, but didn't seem likely based off of the situation that we were seeing. So I think that might have been a little on the
extra cautious
yes,
side.
on the cautious side of things as far as doing tornado warnings for that kind of stuff. But certainly the flash flood warnings were warranted. We saw some crazy rainfall rates. I had over 8.5 inches of rain at my place since midnight. I live out in the west end of Bay County, so that was really, really impressive. Anytime you're talking 8 inches in 4 or 5 hours, that's some heavy rain. So I'll let Kristen take it off, and we'll start. Let's go.
So this is just a 12-hour radar loop of kind of those storms that did come in this morning. And we knew it was going to rain. The models did a really bad job, however, picking up on just how much training was going to be ongoing with those storms coming in across, especially Bay County. So what actually happened is the storm started around midnight for our western areas, Walton County as well as West Bay County. By around 3 o'clock is when we saw the heavy rain starting to move into West Bay County. We did have a tornado warning, and since then it's really just been really heavy rainfall that basically occurred through almost all of Bay County from around 3 o'clock in the morning until about 9 or 10 o'clock, at which point it pushed down towards the southeast through Gulf County. And right now, as we take a look at the latest radar, you can see what was the intense thunderstorms really dissipating, moving towards Gulf and Franklin County. Still a little bit of thunderstorm activity over the northern Gulf of Mexico, but more so closer to the Big Bend than the Panhandle. And we've seen some redevelopment of showers and storms across the northern Gulf as well. Now seeing those storms pushing in near Destin, Okaloosa County, and they're generally tracking towards the northeast. So if you live in Walton County, you're likely going to pick up on a little bit of more of that wet weather, but we are not anticipating these storms to really train like this morning's did. At least there is a little bit structure, a little movement with them as they continue to actually move from west to east. Here's a look at the 12-hour rainfall totals, again, from about midnight to noon or 1 o'clock this afternoon. And you can see that most areas really didn't see too much when it came to rainfall. Most areas outside of Bay County saw anywhere from 1 to 2, maybe 3 at most inches. But in Bay County, there were rainfall totals ranging from 3 to 6 inches, with some isolated higher amounts around 6 to 9 inches. And most of that heavy rainfall did occur in the western third of Bay County, where we really had those heavy thunderstorms come in, again, around 1 to 2 a.m., and they didn't clear out of West Bay County until about 4 or 5 a.m., and then they continued to just impact the rest of Bay County. So here's a look at some of those radar estimated rainfall totals. Obviously, Bay County was the bullseye for this micro-scale event. West Bay picked up over 6 inches. Again, according to radar, that's not an official report just yet. Lynn Haven picking up about 5 inches of rainfall. Even through Port St. Joe, over an inch has already been reported. And really outside of there, from Defuniak Springs, Walton County, and Mariana and Jackson County, about an inch, maybe less than that, depending on where those showers and storms did occur. Now let's talk about just how much rainfall actually occurred. This is a look at some of the math behind our calculations here. Within 1 acre of land, about 27,000 gallons will fall per inch.
Yeah, you got
correct?
that right.
Okay.
So, yeah, 1 inch of rain per acre would be 27,000 gallons per inch. There's 640 acres in 1 square mile. And so of Bay County, we have roughly about 1,500 square miles in Bay County. And then I average down to approximately, that's what that squiggly line means, is approximately 4 inches of rain. So averaging down, I know some areas picked up 6, 7, 8 inches of rain, and some areas only picked up, about an inch, 2 inches of rain. I know most of us that had flooding this morning were probably like, it only rained 2 inches here, my butt. But yes, some locations only picked up 1 to 2 inches of rain. But this is really the issue when we're talking inches of rain that most people don't understand, and it is that rain adds up. It doesn't take 2 feet of rain to cause flooding. 4 inches of rain, that's what we're averaging down to here. So 4 inches of rain, 27,000 gallons per inch equals 108,000 gallons per acre. 108,000 gallons per acre times 640 acres. That's 69 million gallons per square mile. That's 1 inch of rain. We're not talking, though, that's 4 inches of rain per square mile. So per square mile, you've got 69 million gallons of water falling down. How about across the entirety of Bay County? Because obviously we had rain in more locations than just 1 square mile. Okay, so you got your 69 million gallons times roughly 1,500 square miles. That's equal to roughly 10 quadrillion gallons of water this morning. So that is why we saw the flooding.
Not a billion, not
Yeah.
a trillion, quadrillion.
Quadrillion. And if you're wondering what that follows, it's million, billion, trillion, then quadrillion. And then following that would be quintillion.
Yeah, there was so much we literally had to look up.
Yeah, we had to
what
look it
number
up.
was.
I've got a cheat sheet in front of me because I was like, I'm not even sure what that is. But yes, quadrillion. That's how many gallons. And again, estimating down to 4 inches on average across Bay County. We could have seen more in some locations. And that's what flash flooding is it's not necessarily a drainage issue at this point in time. It is a flow rate issue. Mm-hmm. You have so much water that it doesn't matter what drainage you were going into. Mm-hmm. You're going to have issues with flooding, and that's why we have flash flood watches. That's why we have flash flood warnings that get put in place, because we know that 1 inch of rain equals this amount of gallons, and regardless of how well the infrastructure is, you're going to have flooding issues. Now, that being said, we obviously have issues with our infrastructure around here as well. So that added a little insult to injury that's already going on. Mm-hmm. So you have this massive flow rate issue, and then you get, 7, 8 inches of rain in 4 hours. And then it becomes a massive flow rate problem, and the water has nowhere to go. It just stacks up, and that's exactly what we saw this morning. So that's my little rant. Kristen, you want to go straight into yours since we're just spitting fire right now? Let's go for it.
Sure, let's just go for it. My rant is about flash flooding and people driving through floodwater.
Roll the video.
The amount of videos, of pictures. We had a lot of people sending in pictures today, which was great to get, eyes on what's actually going on out there. But it's the same people who are also driving through the floodwater. It's just very hard as a meteorologist. We put your safety first. We want to inform you and keep you safe. And for days now, we've been saying, turn around, don't drown. Do not drive into floodwaters. Why? There's so many concerns with it. First of all, it only takes about 6 inches of floodwater to stall your vehicle, which there were so many stalled vehicles all around Bay County today. Because why? While some areas did get 6 to 9 inches of rain, again, as Ross was saying, that floodwater is going to pile up even if you got 2, 3 inches of rain, and it doesn't take much to stall your vehicle. It only takes about 8 to 9, possibly 10 inches of rain to cause your car to float. If you're in a smaller car, a truck or SUV has to wait till greater impacts are felt, but it's just, your job can wait. Schools can wait. It's your life that's at risk. Flash flooding is the #1 United States weather-related killer here in the United States for a reason, because it's significant. It happens very quickly. Your car can get washed away. You can drown within your car, or even if you try to get out, you might not be able to swim. You don't know if the road's still there. If you're traveling over flooded roadways, the roads could be washed out. There's debris within the road. It's just, there's so many concerns, and it was just really rough this morning as we were getting these pictures and videos sent in of seeing how many people were driving through the floodwater when over and over and over again we're saying, please don't. I know schools were still open. I know people have to get to jobs. First of all, the job can wait. I think your boss is going to understand if you say literally every road was flooded or I had to take 6 different alternate routes. Ross's wife was going to school this morning as a teacher, had to turn around 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, she was on her way, and I told her specifically before she left, because she was leaving right in the heart of when it was pouring down across Bay County. I told her, I was like, do not cross any roadway that is covered in water. And she's like, well, I'm on such and such duty this morning. I have to be there. And I said, I don't care. If you can't get to school, you can't get to school. Do not cross any flooded roadways. And she took her time. It took her about an extra 30 minutes to get to work from what it usually does. And she had to turn around to find 3 different alternate routes eventually to get to her school. And again, I live on the west end of Bay County. She had to drive all the way into town and certainly encountered a lot of roads that had water on them. So that's why she had to turn around a lot. And, you know, just to add on to what Kristen was saying here, I mean, like, we can only do our best with communicating, especially these micro scale events. It's not something that's forecastable. The models aren't going to pick up these one county torrential downpours. I mean, we saw it yesterday with Birmingham, and they had a flash flood emergency. Nobody forecasted that. We had a flash flood watch in place. That's why these are put in place, because we know the possibility is there, but certainly not going to be able to say, oh, well, it's going to happen at this time. We're only able to say, hey, thunderstorms are coming around. If we have training, this is possible. And that's exactly what happened this morning. So all we can do is communicate it. Then it's up to you guys to actually pay attention and do the right thing, which is never, ever, ever cross a flooded road. Like Kristen said, your boss will understand, and if they don't understand, then maybe you shouldn't be working there because they don't value your life. You know, somebody's like, well, I got to get to work. Well, if you die, you're not going to work. Like, you're going to a flooded roadway, it doesn't take that much water. Usually when the water gets to, like this picture shows here, when it gets to about the hubcaps in the bottom of the car, that's usually when you start to see stalling out because the water's getting into the intake, as well as potentially the car starts floating. And then when it floats, you don't
have a car anyways, so you have loads of problems on your hand regardless.
Right. And then when it floats, you end up like this, a car that floated into the ditch. And then you don't know how big that ditch is. It could be several feet deeper than the road itself, and your car might start to sink. I mean, I'd say probably about once a year, we have a story about a car that hydroplane flipped over, landed in a ditch, and the person ended up getting trapped in the vehicle. So, and that doesn't end with, you know, somebody surviving. That ends with a fatality. So that's what we're saying here, is that you're putting your life at risk when you decide that you're going to cross flooded roadways. So please don't do it. Thankfully, we are seeing improving conditions. Roads are still flooded. It's going to take some time for it to drain. We had a lot of rain out there, as Grace can attest to, because she was just out there.
I was just out there, spent all morning with a tow truck company. Literally, they have been in and out all day, all morning. They said that they like to be busy, but they were absolutely stressed this morning with all of the calls they were getting. Even when I was out there with the company, they would just, you know, not even tow people to their company station. They would just pull them out because there's so many cars stalled out, just blocking the roadway anyway. So they need to pull them out, get them to higher ground. And obviously the infrastructure here is a little bit changed even since Michael. We don't have the trees. We don't have kind of that, what keeps the soil, you know, there, and that debris like on the ground. So there's some things that we can do about that, I know.
Yeah, I mean, the infrastructure is obviously a
known. The city manager this morning, he was telling me about some flood mitigation things you can take advantage of, and I'll have more on that later in the news.
Oh, you get a story.
A little tease for you.
Yeah, some of the infrastructure issues are known issues. We know that Hurricane Michael took a lot of the trees. We lost roughly 90 million trees across the Panhandle. Yeah. So you're not just going to replace that kind of water consumption by infrastructure fixes.
Right.
There's bigger issues that are going on. But we had all that debris. Then the debris had to be picked up. We had big trucks around the county for months picking up debris and hauling it around, and that took a massive toll on the roads and the infrastructure drainage issues underneath the roads, because it crunched pipes, it diverted pipes, it filled those pipes up with debris because debris fell off the trucks down into the ditches. And so all of those things have to be fixed before we're talking about a potential where we can have an event like this and it doesn't flood. But even in that situation,
especially already in historic rainfall,
as wet as it has been, and as much water as we have had. I mean, if we didn't have 2 inches of rain yesterday and 5 inches of rain the day before, then this morning might not have been as bad as it was.
That's very true.
So, yeah, even with, if you fix everything, you're still going to have days where this happens. And we had this type of situation 2 years ago. 2019, Callaway picked up 17 inches of rain one morning, and it didn't rain but half an inch at the airport. So, you know, these micro scale events that happen like this, it's going to lead to flooding. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Which is why we're saying, like, we can only communicate it, and then it's up to you guys to be responsible with things. And I haven't heard of a fatality this morning or anything. Lots of stalled cars, but haven't heard of a fatality or anything, and hopefully it stays that way. And like I said, things are improving, so that's the good news here. We are still expecting scattered showers, possibly a thunderstorm. As you see, there's a thunderstorm around Destin. Most of the activity this afternoon should be pretty spotty. I'm not expecting widespread heavy rain like we had this morning. And we should see a downtrend as we go through the day today into tonight. Maybe just an isolated shower or storm tonight, and the same thing for our Friday as our wind will shift to out of the north. That should allow for some dry air in the mid-levels. So we won't see a repeat of what we've had the last 3 mornings, which will be the land breeze interaction helping to enhance all of these showers and storms, which is what we've had the last 3 mornings. If you're wondering why it seems like every morning it storms, well, it's land breeze interaction. The water's still warm, 81, 83 degrees, and our surface temperatures, we're getting down to the low 70s and upper 60s. So you could develop a land breeze, and voila, you've enhanced all of your coastal conversion, and that creates the showers and storms that we had. So getting on to what this show is named for.
Tropics.
The Tropics. And that's where things are going to get a little more positive. Sorry we've been doom and gloom. Everyone's probably like, all right, stop lecturing me. We get it. You know, as far as the news side of things go, I see a lot of comments on here on like update on road conditions and asking about certain situations. I just got in, so tune into the news this afternoon. We're going to have a lot more material for you guys to cover on that. Certainly we'll have updates on all of our social media platforms as well as mypanhandle.com. You can follow along on My Panhandle Mobile. All of that stuff will be updated as that information comes to us. If we don't have the information, guess what? We can't report on it. So if you have information and we don't have it, send it to us and we will report it. You know, we're a small news station here. We don't have thousands of employees to send out. We've got roughly about 20 on the daily basis that can go out, and about 10 of those are tied up in-house to post stuff. So we really only have about 10 individuals at any given time that can actually go out and cover things. So you guys are a tremendous help for us by actually giving us information so that we can go out and investigate that information and report it. So if you do have information, please, please, please send it to us. Is your clicker working? I'm trying to advance. It's not going anywhere.
Well,
maybe.
Try to.
Oh. Hey, there we go. Maybe that's what it was. It was
slow.
Just the loading. So yeah, going into the tropics, we'll start things off here with our tower cams and our webcams out on the beach. Runaway Island cam showing some ominous cloud conditions. I guess the good thing about days like today is that nobody really gets in the water because it's kind of gloomy. And whenever we do have these types of weather events, most of the time you're not talking about an area of low pressure when you have troughing around. So rain comes in, it actually settles things down. Surf kind of gets knocked down by all the rain. That looks like what's going on out there as well. And in fact, Destin is reporting no wind at all, 77 degrees for the temperature there in the Choctawhatchee Bay, and no wind. So, but southeast, the airport at 10 miles an hour, and temperatures obviously not an issue today with cloud cover and rain around the area. We've got 78 degrees, our current conditions. So, Kristen, you were doing it this morning. You want to give us a rundown on the forecast? Kind of already talked about today a little bit, but we have been, teasing because we too hate the rain and we're ready for it to stop. We've been teasing about drier conditions on the way, and it is coming. We had to get through this morning, and unfortunately, this morning was kind of a casualty to the forecast because more rain than we wanted. And hopefully, as we go through the next 12 to 24 hours, we get less rain than we want. Or I guess we don't want any rain. So hopefully we get no rain over the next 12 hours or so.
It looks like we could have a couple isolated showers possible tomorrow morning for our coastal locations. Again, that'll be with the land breeze kind of working in. Certainly nothing expected as we saw this morning, so that is good news. And for most of the day tomorrow, we should have relatively dry conditions, but in the afternoon, a few isolated showers or storms possible in our southeasternmost locations. That's what models are hinting at right now. A rain chance really low at 30%. That's a whole lot nicer than what we've seen for the past few days. And then heading into the weekend, we'll have relatively dry conditions settling on in, more sunshine returning. Rain chances dropping down to around 10%, so we're talking about a very stray shower or storm. Temperatures should be back in the middle to upper 80s, depending on if you're in the coastal locations or a little bit further inland. And it looks like that dry trend is likely to stick around through much of next week as well, from Monday through Wednesday. Haven't seen anything that signifies intense rainfall or even widespread rainfall looking at those latest models this morning. So we should have that drier weather hanging out with us through the middle of next week, which is beautiful. It's a nice reward for dealing with all this rain for the past week. And I think, come tomorrow morning, especially when everyone's waking up, they'll be really happy to see A, not as much activity on the radar, and B, a lot more sunshine, lower rain chances heading in through the next week.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have a little bachelor's weekend because my wife's going out of town, so I think I may go hang out.
You and Bo?
Me and Bo.
Ooh.
Me and Bo might have a beach adventure Saturday and Sunday. We're going to enjoy this nice weather that is headed our way. So that is some excellent news. And I know everybody wants a fall cold front. It's coming. It's going to take a while. We've got some warm, dry air on the way, unfortunately. That means more of the same. And overall, the biggest rain concern now transitions from our cutoff low back to that low that is in the Atlantic side of Florida there, right there in the Gulf Stream. This is kind of an upper-level trough that moved out of the Caribbean. It could gain some tropical characteristics. It's possible. More or less probably going to gain subtropical characteristics if it does. If it gets a name, it would be Wanda. I kind of doubt it at this point. But hey, who knows? We name everything these days, so it's possible that it gets a name. Not really going to be an issue. It's going to kind of meander out there. Might provide some rain showers back over toward our eastern counties, so back across the Forgotten Coastline and the Big Bend. That's where the better chances of rain will be as we head into our Friday and Saturday. And that continues Saturday and Sunday because that area of low pressure is not going anywhere. It's just going to continue to sit there. You see that cold front coming in, you're like, hey, some cooler airs headed our way. Not so fast, because high pressure is going to remain in control, and that means that we stay warm and dry. Where are we on tropical season? Well, we are in the lull of October, and it's fitting pretty nicely into what we're seeing. Models aren't showing a whole lot, and the reason we call this the lull is because you see we come off the peak in September, and then there's a nice quiet period before we get our secondary peak as we head toward the middle to end of October, and that is when I think, but I think at this point in time, we will start to see a pattern change about the 14th, 15th, and 16th. By the 17th and 18th, we may start to see a little more tropical activity. Models are already hinting at it. But the good news is that high pressure looks pretty dominant in the Gulf of Mexico, even as we head toward the middle of the month. So that might hinder us from getting any real cool air in here, but we could sneak some dry air in potentially. It also will likely keep the tropical activity out of the Gulf of Mexico. So there are some good news as far as the sign goes. And then once we get past, say, about October 30th, things really trail off. So, we get into November, it's still possible, but becomes less likely. So there is good news on the horizon, and the good news on the tropical weather here is that we're not seeing a whole lot. Unfortunately, as today proves, you don't need tropics to really cause a whole lot of havoc. Temperatures in the Gulf running anywhere between about 81 and 83 degrees, actually slightly below average for this time of year. Should really be about 84, 85, especially as you go toward the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. That is more or less thanks to the storms that we have had, as well as the amount of freshwater intrusion that has come out of the Mississippi, and just our overall weather pattern. A little bit of dry air that slid in a couple weeks back, helping to cool things off on the surface as well. I forgot to get rid of the label up there. Ignore the tut. There's no tut out there. This is our water vapor imagery across the Atlantic. The monsoonal trough this time of year in the main development region sinks to the south. That allows more dust to come off of Africa. We do have a pretty broad wave moving toward the Windward and Leeward Islands there. Those are, it's really not that big of a deal. And that's about it. There's not a whole lot going on. A whole lot of wind shear in place across the Caribbean, as well as other parts of the Atlantic. The only place that we are actually watching is, as already said, the trough that is off the Carolinas. So that potentially has, what is it, 20%?
I think it's 20% in 5 days right now.
20% in 5 days. I haven't checked it this morning because obviously...
I did check it this morning, but a lot happened since
Yeah, obviously we had other things going on, so I haven't actually checked the latest from the National Hurricane Center. And like I said, dust starts to come back this time of year. We start to get more shear across the Atlantic, and that really shuts down the main development region. So not expecting anything to come off the coast of Africa. Our attention will solely be on troughs that go off of the U.S. on the East Coast, as well as anything that could potentially spin out of, say, a gyre in the Caribbean if we get a gyre development. But you need gyre development to happen before we start talking about stuff coming out of the gyre. So right now, the potential for that exists long range, but it's been showing, the long range has been showing a gyre developing down there for like a month,
Yeah, I was gonna say
and
weeks.
we keep getting close to it, and it doesn't happen.
And it gets pushed back.
Yeah, it just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back, pushed back, and that's the climatological bias of weather models. We've hinted on this throughout this tropical season, is that the long range, you start to fill in the gaps, fill in the holes, and they either do that with Climo data, which is, you know, what's happened over the history of the years, or its own physics package, which then leads
It's a
to
mess anyways.
yeah, then that leads to some pretty laughable solutions. So that's the good news overall, that we're not seeing a whole lot. So thankfully, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is the European model, and I've got the wind surface on here as well as some cloud cover. You can see that that trough tries to develop into the northeast, and the high pressure staying situated over the northern Gulf of Mexico. This pattern, pretty much the same pattern we're going to see for a while. And that northwest wind shear going into the Caribbean is just the greatest thing ever. And you'll also notice divergence in the Caribbean, some wind going off to the north, some wind going back off to the south, and toward the long end range of the model here. Hey, look, there's a little gyre developing down in the Caribbean. Go figure. So that's also hints that by next Friday, we potentially could be talking about a cold front knocking on the door. Not sure it will make it to us,
It'll be there somewhere.
but it could be knocking on the door. So cooler air will at least be coming into the middle part of the country and the Rockies. I'm not sure if it gets to the east or not, but there you go. So that's it for the tropics. I told you we didn't really have a whole lot to talk about in the tropics, and it was going to be a little more fun than us just lecturing you about not driving through flooded waters.
But before we go, we need to give out a shout out to Gloria.
We do.
Yeah.
Gloria, she's like one of our top fans here, watching every week.
Yes.
Thank you, Gloria. We have a little care package, a little News 13 swag we're going to send you because you're such a great viewer, and we do appreciate your viewership.
Well, we've already sent her. We're sending her a care package already. So we need to pick.
Well,
we need to pick a new winner.
We need a new winner then.
We need to pick a new winner this week, and it's got to be somebody that's still watching, Spencer. So because we want to value our loyalty to the viewership, not the people that just come on and get what they want.
Yeah.
We want those hardcore
Those diligent
viewers.
people.
That watch all the way to the end when we start
Like,
talking
we
about
wanna know
nonsense.
what Ross
Should we do,
is
like,
And
a
Ross
trivia
is just
question?
being silly at this point, and wish that guy would stop talking, that kind of stuff.
Should we do a trivia question or something?
Yeah, we could do a trivia question. Do you
First
have
person, I don't know. This comes off the
First
top of my
person,
head.
well, since we're still live, we could do the first person to closely guess how many gallons of water.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a great one because we did it earlier
You
in the
can't
show.
go back and watch right now because
can't-
we're still
we're
live.
still live. So yeah, the first person to get as close to how many gallons of water fell in Bay County today that puts it in the comment section will
We'll get
receive a koozie and a stylus pen, courtesy of the
Sounds like stylish
WMBB
It is stylish
News
as well.
13 weather team. Yeah, this first alert storm team here, the fast team, because we're fast.
Do it fast.
Do it fast. I'm looking for comments. I'm not seeing anything.
Because I can't see 'em.
Everyone's gonna be like,
Everyone's
"Meh."
like, what?
A little delayed, but
How many gallons were there?
Oh, that's it. That's right. I forgot. There's a delay on it. So let's see it.
I got excited because there was a comment on mine, but it was me actually writing in my own post. So no one's actually commenting. It's just me.
I can check for some questions and stuff and see if there's any questions.
Oh, I see one. There's a guess by Alexandria, but she's wrong.
What'd she say?
She said 94 gazillion. That's not
Well,
it.
she tried.
But I said
A for effort.
we got 3 trillion. Oh, we're getting closer.
Okay.
We're getting closer. With Michael saying 4 quadrillion. That's pretty close.
We're giving you hints.
It's the number to beat. We're giving you hints. We're giving you hints.
Let's see. Any other questions?
Anyone else?
Anyone else? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I think we're gonna have to go with Michael for the winner.
For the 4 quadrillion?
4 quadrillion. I believe that's what we're gonna do. I'll give it 5 more seconds.
5, 4.
Hang on. Because there's a delay. Oh, there we go. There we got it. We got a winner.
3.
We got a winner. Sorry, Michael, you got
2.
bested. Sharon Creel is our winner.
What'd she
10
say?
quadrillion. She nailed it.
She was listening.
She was listening.
We like that.
Sharon Creel, you will get a comment from us from the WMBB News 13 page. They will message you, and we will get some information from you so that we can send you a gift. It is going to be a koozie, spoiler alert, and a pen with a stylus on it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but you can show it off to all your friends. Take that
Yeah.
koozie out to the beach.
You can take the koozie out, and you can point out to everyone that you can't read the lettering on the side.
Post a picture.
Post
So
a picture.
Post a picture of it, yes,
Was
as
10
well.
quadrillion, was that the right answer?
It was roughly 10 quadrillion.
It was roughly 10 quadrillion, so she was pretty close.
All right,
It was
and
a
Miss-
little over 10 quadrillion gallons of water fell in Bay County today. So
Miss Patricia, I see you in the WMBB comments. I'll leave something for you as well.
Wow,
did
we're
she?
just
Oh
going
yeah,
all
I
out
see it.
today.
I see her as well. Yep, yep. Good. Yeah, there you go. I forgot that I'm looking at 2 different comment sections. So there we
doing
go.
it all.
We got 2 winners.
doing it all.
But that's gonna do it for this week. We'll be back next week, and we're gonna stick with you through October. As we head into November, we're gonna take a little hiatus.
Are we?
Yes,
Why?
because it's November and there's
go
not a
all
whole
the way
lot of
up to
activity.
November
But then we can
30th.
do holiday things.
Yeah, we're gonna take a little hiatus in November.
All right, you
Just
can
let
follow
me. Will you let
I'll
me?
give you all the updates.
You let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
If there is something to talk about, obviously we will come on and do a Tropic Topics in November. But you got us for a couple more weeks because we'll be here. Kristen won't be here next week. She's, taking vacation.
I'm trying to bring y'all a cold front back, okay?
And the following week, I will be gone, so it'll be a ladies' week. And then our final week before we do a season wrap, because we will come to you special on Tuesday, the 30th, with a Tropic Topics that will be a full season recap, and we'll have some fun with that one. We'll give away
Bloopers.
lots of prizes on that one. So
Tuesday the 30th?
that's the 30th, right? November 30th is a Tuesday, I
Oh,
believe.
okay. I thought we were talking about October. I was like, I'm pretty sure Halloween's on a Sunday.
No, I'm
Okay,
talking.
sorry.
Halloween is on a Sunday.
Sorry, I was in the wrong month.
Oh
Let's just stay in the present.
boy, okay.
Last day of hurricane season.
Yes,
will be
I
our
know the
finale.
last day of hurricane
Yes,
season.
that'll
It's,
be our
it's
finale.
drilled into my brain.
Anyways, we'll be back next week, so you can catch us then. Until then, don't flood. Don't flood.
Don't
Yes.
flood. Don't drive through
Don't drive
floods.
through any flooded water. And be smart, be safe, and hopefully our weather improves over the next 12 hours. And then enjoy the dry weekend.
And also make sure you have that Storm Track 13 app on your
what
mobile
she said.
devices. You will get the latest severe weather alerts, whether that's a flash flood warning, a tornado warning, lightning alerts that you should be heading inside and seeking shelter from. You can also watch us live
Oh, yeah,
from
that's a
the
good one.
app. You don't have to just go to the website. You can go right to the app. And again, if there are any big weather events, we're always live streaming our newscasts and severe weather coverage on our website, mypanhandle.com, where we do have more updates when it comes to road closures continuing this afternoon and the latest weather updates on that page as well.
Awesome. You got anything to
I
add,
know.
Grace?
Grace, we're teasing.
And I have nothing to plug.
No, you
Goodbye.
got- you got your story.
Your story tonight.
Oh yeah, watch me on the news later.
But what is your story about? These people might have
It's
joined
about
us.
flooding. It's about flooding in Panama City and over actually all throughout Bay County. So, yeah.
And you talked to the city manager.
And I talked to the city manager
about.
And I hung out with the towing company earlier, and it's
So
pretty
she's
fun.
gonna give you like a
And
360 view.
360 of everything that happened this morning and how it affected our area.
When?
Coming up at 5 o'clock.
Are you at 5?
I don't know.
Are you at 5?
At 5, possibly 6.
It might be 5 or
again,
6.
10.
Might
We
be
don't-
5, might be 6, might
we-
be 10.
You
We
just
don't
have
know
to
what
watch
we-
all of them to find out.
And if you miss it
don't
on
know.
TV,
I
you
just-
can find it on mypanhandle.com.
That's
There
right.
you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye.
Maybe I'll post it. Bye. Okay, bye.
Thank you for watching Tropic Topics, sponsored by Peden Heating and Air Conditioning and Marietta Toyota. Be sure to download the StormTrack 13 app today to stay up to date with all of the latest weather information. For more local news, weather, sports, and more, visit mypanhandle.com.